Leftist Show.
Did you get to see After Earth?
I did.
What did you think?
I have a couple of mixed thoughts on it. The direction of the movie wasn't terrible. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It was by no means as bad as The Happening. You could tell there was a little bit of political propaganda. You know, we screwed up the Earth. We had to leave because we screwed it up so bad and kind of left a bad taste in the Earth's mouth, which is why it's so aggressive towards humans. But yeah, that's to be expected. I don't know, it was a miss for sure. I don't know how the heck they missed with that director. But it's hard to say.
It was a miss. Like, was it just not an entertaining movie? Did the kid drop the ball? What
I would have been totally fine with a slow pace, which it was, because I don't mind that. And the Shyamalan thing where, you know, you get the big reveal at the end was kind of a cool concept. I mean, I saw it because I know his direction so well. I saw, oh my goodness, this is the point when he does the big reveal, which was kind of cool. I liked what it was. I just didn't like the movie. I mean, Will Smith was so dry. He just played this character that was supposed to be emotionless. But that's the best thing about Will Smith is that when he plays in a movie, he's just very talented at expressing his emotion. But the emotion in this movie was he had no emotion. It was really weird. Like his special, like superhuman gift was no emotion. And if you do see the movie, which I wouldn't pay to see it in the theaters, not at all, you'll see that that's like his superhuman gift. They're fighting this enemy. You find this out in the first 30 seconds of the movie. We went and like inhabited another planet after we screwed up Earth. Aliens who I guess wanted the planet also. They didn't say why they were so aggressive towards us. They dropped these like biological weapons, and what they were was almost freakishly exactly like the aliens from Starship Troopers, which I thought was extremely lame. I mean, the faces were a little different, but the way they moved and everything was like almost the same.
Just very insect kind of oriented.
Except that, yeah, the face had like a little more expression than those ones. But man, I would have fired the person that came up with this design because that's like a very popular science fiction movie. So why would you almost copy that if you're attempting a very popular science fiction movie? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
anyway, these things read pheromones, which are secreted when you have fear. And Will Smith's character was like this freak, and he had no fear, so he could kill these things because they couldn't see him. And they were super, super destructive. So he came up with this technique, which then became a whole force in the military called the Rangers. And what they did is called ghosting, which means they shut off all emotion, and these things you can't see you, so you're able to kill them, which is an awesome concept. Completely underdeveloped and barely dabbled in. But that's the point of the movie. Is now I'm telling you this movie, and it's going to sound good, but I'm only telling you what they had, what gem they had to work with that they just dropped. Is he is extremely reserved and created this fighting pact called ghosting, and his son is this emotional, very courageous, but extremely emotional.
Like borrowing from like the Vulcan model where you develop yourself like that? Yeah,
absolutely. And the kid's super emotional, very courageous and very passionate and a good person, but 100% emotion, unlike his father. And his father comes back after one second to last tour because his dad's a big shot, and his son's just misses him and acting out. And so the mom convinces them to take this like benign mission together, just to spend some time together, and they crash on Earth. Younger Smith has to go retrieve the beacon so they can get rescued. All the dad has been instilling in this boy his entire life is shut off your emotion, do what you have to do, which the premise is awesome. It's just an awesome premise. And the boy's emotional, so you're seeing this like battle. The son wants to be loved. This is the way the dad handles his emotions, so there's like some conflict there. Now that I told you this, it was a complete miss.
I mean, everybody is railing against it. Like it's got like a chilly kind of reaction to it.
Yeah, it does.
Which is really a shame. M. Night, the thing about him is he's got an uncanny sense of, think of humanity as like rushing by a New York red light. The red light turns green and everybody walks. And there's a million things in that moment that are beautiful, but people are just on their horse, for whatever reason. And M. Night's one of these few artists that he sees what makes us human. He sees these in between the lines and these details, and he finds a way of writing a script that puts a really beautiful face on that. Well, most of the time, that's actual simple storytelling. It's not simplistic, but it's simple. He does that so well. And then I think what he wanted to do is he wanted to up his ante, and he wanted to get into the big game where he's directing major big budget features. But you can still do that with all those elements. What you cannot do is you cannot sacrifice human story for anything else. And I really do believe what he's got his sights set on, I'm going to teach all my audience something instead of just showing them their life. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
I don't know how, as the director who's put out some of the movies he's put out, I don't know how he was okay with it. I don't know how you look at that film as a finished project and say, okay, I'm going to release this to the world.
The nosedive in his creation in the last two films is just remarkable.
I don't know if this is one of these things where he wrote the great American novel and then is incapable of making another.
No, it's not, because he wrote 4. I know it's not, because he wrote 4. I mean, in my opinion, he wrote 4 way above average classic
screenplays.
I mean, there's no way that's a flash in the pan. Think about his best work, you know, The Village, Signs. This is all human. This is like human between a family and...
But here's the only positive. If he doesn't go away completely, which I don't think he will, this will be the biggest reboot he has. Because this is the one that's going to go down as, this guy, we just don't hire him anymore.
A Brock Lolly production.